Okay, what up, friendos? We're talking today about Ubisoft, as I like to call them, specifically Skull and Bones, which if you haven't followed, Skull and Bones has been basically the biggest bag fumble in the history of video games, because it should have been such an easy slam dunk, because essentially they had Assassin's Creed Black Flag come out, which was really well received. It was one of the newer Assassin's Creed games that had some really interesting mechanics with the whole, going around on the ocean and pirating. It was just really fun. And all they needed to do was take Black Flag. They already had all the interesting, fun parts of the game figured out, and just remove the Assassins part, and then just make Black Flag, but expand more on the pirate aspect and get rid of the assassin stuff. And instead, they've spent 10 years developing a game that's going to come out and probably not do super well. Why is it not going to do super well? Well, the way that they've made it now is it's going to probably compete directly with a popular, swashbuckling and pirate game called Sea of Thieves, which is already, occupying most of the market share for this style of game. Only it looks to have less actual content, and is launching with a very hefty box price, which is interesting. So let's go over that. Ubisoft CEO defends Skull and Bones' $60 price tag, says it's a, quote, quadruple A game. So this game is going to be so good, it's going to be so amazing, that they've invented a new fucking term to justify selling it to you for $60, while it's also going to be a live service with everything that goes along with a live service monetization, as well as most live service games that release and don't have all the content there right away. And the plan is hook people in, get them to play, and then we'll just, piecemeal give them content over time while fucking siphoning money from their wallets with all the stuff we're going to sell. So it's going to have an in-game store, a battle pass, seasonal events, and premium currency, as well as a $60 price tag. And you're going to go, well, Kira, how's that any different from most games that release nowadays? And I'm going to say, not really very different at all. But any chance I have to laugh at things that Ubisoft says, I'm going to take it. So let's explore more. The CEO, which you'll see here, I've got some tabs open about this CEO. The CEO, Yves Guillemot, probably saying that name wrong, not really my area of expertise, defended the cost in an investor call today, saying the high price is warranted because it's a quadruple A game. Now, how a price is usually warranted is if people are going to spend it, and I'm sure some people are going to, but I personally don't see Skull and Bones, off of the reviews that I've seen so far on people playing the game, being a game that a lot of people are going to be spending $60 on. It seems like one of those that's going to come out. Some people are going to play it. They're going to very quickly realize that they need to go free to play or way cheaper in order to fill the game up with players before the people who did buy it quit, causing a snowball effect and making the game fail epically, spectacularly, because that's typically what happens when you don't have enough players in a game that requires players. So the response that he gave there, with it being a quadruple A game, came from people saying this could presumably limit the size of the player base. It's not presumably, it absolutely does. And he said, you will see that Skull and Bones is a full-fledged game. Great. Fucking tell me more. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. So it's a really full AAA, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run. Now, bear in mind, this is a response to investors, right? It's an investor meeting. Players don't care about delivering in the long run when the short run is $60 for a game that you're also going to monetize in a bunch of other ways. If the game isn't there in the immediate, people are not going to buy it. It's going to not do super well. People are going to refund it. Or people are going to quit after they bought it very quickly, and the game's not going to have a long run in the first place. His response, it's a good game, is to be expected, but what's interesting is the fact that Skull and Bones price tag has come into question in the first place. I've listened to a lot of investor calls over the years, and I don't recall ever hearing a specific pricing decision questioned like that. Discussions of industry-wide trends, like the rise of the free-to-play model, or when Capcom president said in 2023 that game prices are too low, are common enough. But why are you charging so much for this one game is something else entirely. It's an implicit criticism. Yeah, actually, this is a really good point. I'm glad PC Gamer are bringing this up. This is not typically something you see in investor calls or meetings at all. But obviously, if you are in the know as an investor, in a video game company, this is something you should be asking. Why, when all these other live service games are releasing free, to approach the biggest market possible and then take their money with all these, lacking in upward limits, lacking in a ceiling monetization models? Why are you cutting us off from that to just get this big box price up front? And is that going to hurt us? Because obviously investors, what they care about is making the most money possible. Stock price goes up, they make money. So a game not doing well, or a game just artificially having this high price as a barrier for people that potentially could play and then buy those microtransactions, is bad for investors, unless the game's going to be an amazing experience, which by everything we're seeing doesn't appear to be the case. But obviously, I think most people are kind of sick at this point of what he's saying, which is Ubisoft thinks this has the potential to establish itself as a new live experience over the long term. It's all good aiming for stuff like this, but I think people typically see live service now, and obviously he's using live experience maybe to avoid using that term that people just dislike. I think when people hear or see things like this now, they're just kind of turned off by it. Obviously, this idea from Capcom president that game prices are too low, I'd argue that game quality is too low if the price is too low. I'd argue that most AAA games are not worth the box price for the actual experience that they're delivering. If you want to charge more money, you better be making some better and bigger games, because releasing the same thing slightly differently over and over, which is what a lot of these bigger companies do, is not going to cut it if you want more money. And yeah, that's my cat going utterly nuts in the background throughout the whole video. He just never stops. As soon as I start recording videos, as soon as I start talking, he decides this is the time he's just going to screech loudly for no real reason, making it amazing as an experience to record videos. So obviously this is the same dude who was pushing, Ubisoft are going to be in NFTs and we're going to do all these things like Ubisoft Quartz. And obviously the PR line from Ubisoft when it all failed was, gamers just don't get it. Gamers don't understand. They're too stupid and uninformed if they don't like what we're doing. Obviously the point they were trying to make was, this is good for gamers. Because then they're going to be able to resell skins on the secondary marketplace, which I don't even necessarily as a concept disagree with, though you don't need crypto and NFTs to do that, i.e. Steam have been doing this for a long time. I think it's fucking hilarious though when a CEO of a big company who has such issues with consumer practices and monetization, even on a surface level, tells you, we're doing this for you and it's going to be good for you. It's like, come on, bro. I know some people are that stupid, but the majority of people are not going to see a CEO of a big corporation that hoses their players for microtransactions and stuff make a decision and think, yeah, you're right, actually, that is going to be good for us, because the only reason you're doing it is because you think it's going to be good for you and make you money, nothing else. Whether there's some things that are beneficial to the consumer down the line, maybe that's true, but that's not why you're doing it. And to say that people don't like it because they don't get it is obviously just disqualifying their opinion without even addressing what people are actually saying regarding that. And obviously articles like this were from 2021 when Ubisoft was fully rock hard on the idea that they're, the metaverse and play to earn and all these amazing things are going to come in, probably because they saw the level of money fucking idiots, frankly, were willing to spend on things that didn't exist. And they were like, whoa, we're selling, mediocre games and we can't make that much money. Why don't we sell promises and nothing and get people to give us loads of money because we're a big gaming company? And if a big gaming company does it, then obviously that's going to make all the crypto bros think that this has legitimacy and he's going to be the next big thing. Something that obviously when they tried to implement, as I went over in multiple videos before, failed spectacularly, with them only selling like a couple $1,000s of these NFT skins for a game that was implemented in even the dumbest fucking way imaginable, that would have no recurring value or anything like that. And then of course they just moved on as if nothing happened and said, we're still looking into it, and there's not really been any mention since. So yeah, am I surprised that, Skull and Bones is going to be like this? No, not really. Of course they're going to try and make as much money from it as possible. They've been developing the thing for a fucking decade. It's Star Citizen, only without any of the potential promise at the end and the $600 million crowdfunding from their community. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. Go to GamerSups, link in video description. Buy waifu cups. Buy flavored powder you put in the waifu cups with water. You can drink it. Or do other stuff, I guess, if you're that way inclined. Probably don't, though. Just drink it. You can use my link. You'll get a kickback. No, I'll get a kickback. you'll get a discount. They have loads of flavors. They also sell snacks and stuff. I think there's a big discount going on at the moment. Lots of people in my community have been using it and really enjoy it. You can get it caffeinated, non-caffeinated, whichever way you like to roll. And back to World of Warcraft and Magic the Gathering Arena, which I stopped playing just to record this video. That's how you know I enjoy doing this, guys, because I stopped running stockades repeatedly while half AFK ranking up on Arena, just so I could record this video. So there we go. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.